work with customers more often than not. If you have people in the OT space, in the automation space, in the floor space that have subscribed to these concepts, when IT becomes involved in these large integration projects, they're kind of unfamiliar with this, and they're asking questions like, what is UNS, and what is this namespace, and why do you guys use it? Because they have a totally different bucket of tools that they work with, right? And so this is causing a disconnect, and these two teams are having to learn to speak the same language and find some sort of common ground of, what are they going to use, right? We see this in a lot of enterprise deployments.
Yeah, but I also think from the UNS standpoint, right, they're not, there's only a couple of really technical problems we're solving. Yeah, you're creating a standard for the naming of data, and you're reducing your network, bandwidth. So you can, so those are all good things. But it also is then just feeding into a SCADA system or feeding to a historian, feeding into legacy systems still. So you're still, the payload of the data is still tag name, value, and timestamp. TVT, trademark, this guy. So you're not really getting that contextual data. So when I talk to data science on the IT side, they're like, can you please add context to it? Because I don't know what this, they're just sending me a number. They're sending me a tag name and a value, and I don't know what that is. What part was running, what shift was running, what was the temperature outside at that time? Like all these other pieces of data that they could put together and add context to it. So they're solving it. It's solving a problem, but it's still, I think from his standpoint, he's solving it from an industrial SI, which is SCADA, historian, MES. With that, they want that's all they want on the data. But we're past that now, right? So fine, create a UNS, feed that to your traditional legacy systems, but have another data pathway that's adding context, pushing it to the cloud, start doing all the AI, the ML stuff that we're doing, the big analytics and that kind of stuff. So you need, I'm not saying not to use it, it's more of a use it for where it's supposed to be used.
What makes sense too is way back when IoT was first being coined, it wasn't so much, there's still no cloud stuff, right? It was the sensors, and everything was going to be smart, and everything was going to have an IP address.
Right, refrigerators are going to.
Right, and that was, and then the industrial IoT was everything on the shop floor was going to have an IP address. But there was, at the very beginning of that, it was just getting data from all this different stuff, not necessarily moving it north, and the machine learning hadn't really clicked in yet. It was just, I have all this data, what am I going to do with it? And the capability to get all that data was going to transform how things were made. And I think you're right, that was the sensor revolution, and that was the default protocol, and it's just kind of evolved, but it's still time value.
Because even in that,
I didn't want to copyright or infringe the trademark.